Good evening. TV9 Action News is next.
Here are some of the stories headed your way. Flood warnings go out as area creeks begin to rise.
And I'll let you know when the next substantial rain may come.
Also tonight, hazardous trash is piling up in a North Georgia community. We'll tell you what's being done to solve the dilemma.
The postseason picture is set for the Mocs. Daryl will have details.
And as we continue our series, Our Best Friends, you'll meet one woman and her 26 special friends. Join us.
When Bill and I moved here from Tennessee, we didn't know a soul. Being the
TV9. Bob Johnson, Mary Ellen Loker, Daryl Patterson, and meteorologist Neil Pascal. Now, live from WTVC Chattanooga, this is TV9 Action News.
Good evening. What's made for a bizarre month of weather continues to take unusual turns.
One day after snow fell in some parts of the area, sunshine and flood warnings are out today. Although it looks like a pond, what you're looking at now is actually a live shot from Chickamauga Creek. Normally what you're looking at is around 40 feet wide. As you can see, the creek is now considerably larger. Chickamauga Creek is expected to reach flood stage just about past midnight tonight. The waterway will crest at 19 feet, which is 1 foot above flood level. Authorities do not believe any homes will be threatened, but if water approaches a house, police will warn residents as needed. There's word, though, that more rain may be on the way. Neil's got a quick update for us. Neil?
First on the live radar, Mary Ellen, at least nothing around now and through tomorrow, as you can see, wide open. Let me show you a satellite picture, and we're looking over there in Texas. A Gulf low is forming over here, or will be, and scooting on up. We could see some more substantial rain in here by Thursday that could rise a few more creeks. And we are also entering the month of March, which is the month we get most of our rain here, the most for any month, and we have greater flood problems in March than any other month, too, as well. More details a little bit later on. Back to you all.
Thanks, Neil. We'll check with you in a few minutes. Bruce Moore will have more on the flooding up front tonight at 6:30. And there's something else to add to the strange weather situation. The effects of a small ice storm are still being felt on Lookout Mountain. Ice covered many trees and power lines around Point Park. Some folks lost power when lines snapped. Many places are still without power or phone lines. Electricians will continue working through tomorrow morning to get everything restored to normal. A border dispute involving trash has led to a crackdown on folks who dump garbage near the Murray-Whitfield County, Georgia line. The TV9 Action News reporter Vanessa Eccles explains it'll take more than a warning to stop illegal dumping.
Ernest Davis likes to pick up cans in this area behind his house. What he doesn't like is having to search through all the junk that's dumped here illegally. Everything from trash to old furniture to dead animals.
Well, they throw dead dogs out down here. See, yonder's one. And live ones, and they come up, take up the house. Sometimes I get at them, run off.
This sign apparently isn't working too well, but folks who use this road say what you see now is a big improvement over how this area usually looks. What all do you see down here?
Everything. You name it, and that's what you see.
The dump sits on the county line, but the area belongs to Murray County. Besides being unsightly, folks here are worried this is all unhealthy, too. A lot of the garbage flows into the Conasauga River, which is where many people get their drinking water. Even though the water is treated before it reaches Whitfield County homes, the river pollution makes residents in both counties uneasy. Murray County Commissioner Jack Reed says cleaning up the dump isn't enough. He wants the sheriff to help him keep it clean.
He says that he's going to watch it more and hopefully catch a few people that are dumping there and put some fines on them.
The area was cleaned up several years ago, but it didn't stay that way very long. That's why Ernest Davis says he won't get too optimistic about this new effort until he sees if it's working. Vanessa Eccles, TV9 Action News.
Some of the other stories you'll see in this newscast are follow-up file report looks at a matter of mileage that could make or break an education. And you'll meet one lady and a lot of cats as we continue Our Best Friends.
Christmas plans to argue self-defense. 40-year-old Peggy Weddington appeared in court today for a preliminary hearing. Her attorney, Russell Bean, says he's laying the groundwork to prove that Weddington shot her husband, Kenneth, because he threatened to cut her throat. The couple's teenage daughter testified Kenneth Weddington beat Petty Weddington numerous times. The grand jury will decide if there is enough evidence to charge Weddington with murder. A young boy continues to cling to life after a fire swept through his home. 2-year-old Derek Gillespie was critically injured in a blaze at his South Watkins Street home Sunday night. His 8-month-old sister, Cabricia, was killed in the fire. The house's front door was padlocked. The children's mother was not at home. Faulty wiring is being blamed for the fire.
The crackdown on paging devices in the high school has taken another turn. Tennessee lawmakers voted last night to allow school officials to search the locker of any student caught with a pager, which is not authorized by a principal. However, Senator Jim Lewis of South Pittsburgh says the bill may violate students' rights. Many legislators and school officials contend the pagers are used to make drug deals. Still to come tonight, taxi wars intensify as Carter maps out a cleanup plan.
And when we come back, the Andrews clan. It is the cat's meow, literally.
I'm Kevin Reese. Tonight in Follow-Up File, a plan to give hundreds of college students a big break.
But the best memories are the ones we will make when we're together again. I'll be coming to Chattanooga soon. Love, SGC.
Satisfy your curiosity. Tune your radio dial to 101.9 FM and just keep listening.
Let's see what's new at the Roddenberry's Pickelodeon. We're just in time.
Don't miss Crocodile Dundee, a thriller-diller of a story about a pickle-packing lad from the Roddenberry's outback.
G'day.
Who spices things up in the big city with a fresh, sassy outlook on the sins of the soggy pickle.
That's not a pickle. This is a pickle.
Pick up the perfectly puckery pickles from Roddenberry's, mate. They're fair dinkum delicious.
Roddenberry's. Our best is in it, because our family's good name is on it.
A time to care message from American National Bank.
There wasn't anyone to help me out when I was growing up, but I sure could have used it. It's not easy running your own business, but it is your own. And when I heard about these kids trying to get started, I just had to take some time to help. Of course, they think I've got it made. As long as I can keep working with them, I do.
Some thoughts on taking time to care from American National Bank. We're with you. Something's happening tonight on TV9. At 8 on Who's the Boss, Angela invites Tony to a posh party with Frank Sinatra, and Paul's lack of basketball talent affects his friendship with Kevin on The Wonder Years. Then the Connors have a dinner party for Becky's boyfriend at 9 on Roseanne. And at 9:30, don't miss the sneak preview of Coach. Elliot's dad visits him on 30-something at 10, followed at 11 by TV9 Action News Update. It's all after Inside Edition at 7:30 tonight on TV9.
You're about to meet a woman who single-handedly is fighting a dilemma. Her weapons are tender, loving care and a little patience. As we continue our Time to Care series, Our Best Friends, TV9 Action News reporter Lori Perry introduces you to Eileen Andrews and her little buddies.
Okay, come on, baby.
It's dinner time at the Andrews house.
Come on, sweetie. Sometimes you think, well, I just can't do this today. But yes, you can. You know, I've made a commitment to them. You know, they won't let you not feed them.
They're a unique bunch. Sebastian, Caesar, and Cajun, and their 23 fellow felines. Eileen Andrews of Catoosa County, Georgia, is their protector. For her, this all began several years ago with a trip to an animal shelter. The thought of innocent animals losing their lives was too much for her.
I couldn't stand it. I could not stand the thoughts of those kittens and the puppies and the cats, or even the dogs for that matter, but they wouldn't let me take the big dogs. And I talked with the commissioner, and he said, you know, if that's what you're going to do is give them away, then you can have them.
She took all she could and found them homes. The rest she inherited, along with all the work. It takes 100 pounds of kitty litter, a 10-pound bag, and 7 cans of food each week. Andrews even had to add a special cat room to her house, but she doesn't think about money. This is a family matter.
The cats are just like children. They have different needs, different moods, different temperaments. But just like in any family, you don't want to play favorites, but still some have special needs.
Spunky. Like Spunky, who was left blind by a crippling infection.
We have a tendency to spoil her just a little bit more than maybe some of the other ones.
Then there's Sugar Baby, who has a birth defect.
A lot of times, some people will not take an animal who is crippled or has a deformity or something seems to be wrong with it, so I kind of have a special place in my heart for them.
But she does love them all, like Sylvester, who's potty trained, and Booger, who vets think has a trace of bobcat in him. They're both perfect examples, Eileen says, of how animals can bring joy to the heart.
You know, we share our planet with animals, and I think we should love them and care for them as much as we can.
Lori Perry, TV 9 Action News.
Eileen's had all of her cats spayed or neutered, and she suggests all pet owners do the same. As we continue our Best Friends tomorrow, Lori looks at 3 dogs and special visits they make each week to local nursing homes.
Just purring away. All this week, you have a chance to take part in a space adventure. Roxanne Stein continues her look at Space Week tonight at Action News at 6:30. This evening, you'll meet 2 local kids who have a lot of celestial ambition. Also tonight at 6:30, Fort Payne, Alabama reaches the century mark quietly. And we'll have more tips on beating colorectal cancer as our Life Test series continues. There's still time for companies that want to organize the auctioning of items from the Chattanooga Choo-Choo to make their bids. One firm wanted to file fees and expenses to sell off parts of the landmark today, but bankruptcy judge Ralph Kelly postponed the deadline. That following the objection of 2 banks. The group was asking for as much as 4% of the Choo-Choo's sale price of $10 million.
The newly formed taxi board met for the second time today, bringing it one step closer to new regulations for Chattanooga cabs. CARTA, which has long been the sole regulator, has joined with taxi industry members in drawing up new cab guidelines. The board reported some progress today in setting a uniform look for vehicles, but there are many more meetings to go before final decisions will be made.
Well, how much is a college education worth in Tennessee? If you live in Georgia, perhaps 3 times as much cost-wise.
Students who reside in Alabama or Georgia have been trying to change tuition rules for years. And as Kevin Reese tells us in Follow-Up File tonight, there may finally be a light at the end of the tunnel. Kevin?
That's right. As much as 6% of UTC students are from Georgia, and their tuition is much more expensive than students from Tennessee. But most of them live within driving distance of Chattanooga, so they're fighting to end decades of price discrimination. It's a problem that's existed at UTC since 1969. A problem Georgia resident Tracy Sweet says is grossly unfair.
It makes you feel really low, in a sense. It makes you feel deprived of an education.
Deprived because he only lives 10 miles from UTC, and a semester's tuition costs him almost $1,900. A student from Knoxville, 100 miles away, would only have to pay $584.
Ideally, we would like to see be able to open up to the students who are out of state within a 50-mile radius to be able to come to UTC for in-state fees.
That's the solution soon to be considered by the Tennessee legislature. It would allow as many as 100 Georgia or Alabama students to attend UTC at in-state rates. The School Student Government Association endorsed the plan today, much to the delight of Trenton resident Donna Hammond, who says she pays sales tax in Tennessee that supports Tennessee education, and then feels punished when she pays more than the local student sitting next to her.
So really we're paying twice for something that we shouldn't have to pay but once for.
And when it's a matter of $1,300 a semester, students obviously hope the plan is approved soon. Similar programs are already in place in northern Tennessee. UT Martin and Austin Peay already allow a certain number of their students, a certain number of their out-of-state students to attend their schools at the more favorable in-state rates. Bob, Mary Ellen?
Thank you, Kevin. Later in our newscast, wrapping up what's been a big month for Black history.
And when we come back, we'll check in with Neil in the Weather Center. Neil?
looks like we're heading into more of a spring-like pattern. I'll explain.
Also ahead, Fife, Alabama's UFO sightings get a national spotlight.
You know, Vern, the way I figured, it'd be a whole lot easier for me to build a whole brand new all-gas home than to try to keep paying these big electric bills. Know what I mean? And that's why I'm going to get me a high-efficiency gas furnace and gas range and a new gas dryer and gas water heater, and I'm going to put them right here. Know what I mean? What's wrong, Vern? Bored? Well, just kidding, Vern. Just kidding.
You back again?
I just walked 2 miles. I thought my transmission was fixed. Didn't you road test it?
Road test it?
I can't believe how some people do business. At Mr. Transmission, you get a free road test. We're the professionals. Our name says it all. Mr. Transmission.
See the professionals at the Mr. Transmission near you.
At the Olive Garden Italian restaurant, we speak a different language. We have no words for can't, and won't, and impossible. No phrases for a little less, or not too much. In fact, we don't know the meaning of enough. Some would say speaking a different language can make all the difference in the world. The Olive Garden Italian restaurant, where all the best of Italy is yours.
Looking for just the right way to enjoy your leisure time? Come to the TV9 Sertoma Sports and Leisure Show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Trade Center. Over 60 exhibitors will be on hand offering services and products for just about any leisure time interest at special show prices. Plus, you can take part in fishing seminars and demonstrations at the Cadillac of all fish tanks, the Hog Trough. The whole family will enjoy the TV9 Sertoma Sports and Leisure Show.
The town of Fife, Alabama goes national tomorrow night. The sightings of UFOs there, which we told you about last week, will be featured tomorrow night on Inside Edition. The nationally syndicated show will look at the phenomenon many folks in the northeast Alabama town say they experienced, and some of the people who say they've seen UFOs are police officers. You can see the Inside Edition segment tomorrow night at 7:30 here on TV9.
Now look to the heavens around here in the near future. I guess we might be seeing some more raindrops.
That's all we need. A pretty day today. Tomorrow should be nice, and then another rain.
Just in time to get into the end of the week, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be hit and miss the whole week, it looks like. But we're changing patterns here. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. First of all, our weather's shot, and currently, not bad at all. Temperature is settling down a little bit. TV9, 52. North wind is light. It's dried us out today very quickly. Barometer 29.98 and rising. Here was last night's radar at 11:30 p.m. Still socked in with the rain, but as we predicted, temperature stayed steady, so the roads did not have any problems. Just really rain, and some of the real high elevations froze, continued to freeze in the trees, power lines, and so enough ice that we did have a few problems with some of those trees that bent over, but that melted very quickly today, and of course all that dried out around sunrise. The rain got out. 37 this morning. 55 today, and on this date we've been as warm as 78, and you'll notice that we've had 12 inches of rain for the year. We are ahead by over 2 inches, much of that coming in the month of February, because in February we had over 7 inches. Normally we only have about 4.5 in February. Indeed, this winter we've done quite well though rain, and we needed to do so too to help get the water table up some. Here are the grand totals for all that rain, and you see Butch, Tyndall, and Absent had one of the higher readings, 3.1 inches, and 2.8 was the case in Ringgold. Sweetwater had 3, Ellijay 2.9, 3.4 in Scottsboro, all of northeast Alabama getting quite a bit, and Cleveland in with 2 1/3, Dalton 3.1, Copper Basin area had about 3 inches. Stevenson, John Britton called in with 2.4 there. 3.7 in Lafayette, I believe, was the highest. What about your mood? This week it's probably going to be average the next day or so, then lower itself somewhat. We've got a couple of storms that are going to come through here, bring up humidity, increase wind, gray up the skies, do some things that also may cause a few aches in your bones that some of you might just be getting over with now. Midnight last night, of course, the rain's still with us. You'll notice that it just erases itself very quickly, and a very defined clearing line brought the sun out much earlier today than had been expected, and we ended up some real nice weather. Temperatures warming, of course, into the 50s now. This is the new area where our next possible rain will be coming from, the southern plains. A low looks like it's going to form in the Gulf and start to bring that moisture our way. But we'll see sun again tomorrow for much of the day before any of that begins to advance itself on us. In fact, let's take a look here and see exactly what's going to happen. Here's the low that's getting organized. Drizzle and light rains beginning to form over the South Plains. Band of snow across the lee side of the Rockies. Here's a little cool air. It's going to pass us on and continue the dry weather for a while. But the flow aloft is changing west to east, and that's going to keep any real cold air way up here from really coming down in our direction. So we're just looking at rain. Now watch how everything's going to go here. This low is going to go in the Gulf. This high is going to come right down over the area. Here it comes, so it'll be nice tomorrow. But this rain is going to begin organizing itself with the Gulf coastal states, make a move on us late tomorrow night and Thursday. And the setup of the Gulf low is that we could get another constant rain where we could end up with an inch or more. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for the areas around the creeks. Here's my forecast in the meantime. A fair, cool night tonight. Low temperature down to about 31. Tomorrow, pleasant, beautiful, partly cloudy. More clouds late in the day, mild up to about 55. So much like today in that sense. So at least we can look forward to some good weather tomorrow. Later on, I'll pinpoint the 5-day and let you know which days look wet.
Okay, enjoy it while it lasts right now.
There you go. Yeah.
Thanks, Neil. Raising a child is no easy task, and doing it on your own can be even tougher. But TV9 Action News reporter Susan Winay takes a look at a program designed to help single parents cope.
27-year-old Kathy Jennings is coming home from her morning classes. She's unemployed, divorced, and trying to raise 2 boys on her own.
And it's hard to get going. It's hard to get motivated. When you start thinking of all your mistakes, then you stay in the house and you just sort of sit there and do what you do.
But Kathy wasn't content to stay at home. She decided to help herself and her family by enrolling in a program called CHIPS.
What % of your potential do you feel you are using?
CHIPS stands for Career Happenings for Interested Parents Who Are Single. Beverly Mathis teaches it here at the Walker County Technical Institute. The program, which started 3.5 years ago, is designed to get single parents off welfare and back in the workforce.
I am a motivator for these people. I deal with their attitudes, their self-esteem. Usually when they first come into the program, they have very low self-esteem and very low confidence levels.
The 4-week program is free for a single parent who has 1 or more dependent children under age 18. And potential students must live in Dade, Walker, Chattooga, or Catoosa counties. Anyone interested can call Walker Tech at 404-764-1016. Kathy says it provided the motivation she needed to get back on her feet. Susan Winay, TV9 Action News.
And speaking of schools, I'd like to take time to thank the broadcast writing class at Chattanooga State Technical College. The class invited me to speak to them today, and we talked about writing for TV and how to get started in the news business. The students were great, asked some good questions, and I did enjoy meeting all of them. I wish them the best of luck in their future careers. That was fun today.
Some budding journalists right there. Good.
Yeah.
Next in sports, the stage is set for UTC's Mocs. Daryl has the playoff picture when we come back.
And you'll meet Mr. Basketball in Tennessee, who lives right here in Chattanooga.
The following announcement is for honorably discharged U.S. veterans age 18 to 59. The toll-free number shown on your screen is used to respond to the following. Do not miss this important information exclusively for veterans. Veterans of all branches of service and spouses of qualified veterans stand by for complete details.
Already over 2 million veterans have called to find out how this card can serve them exclusively. I'm Roger Staubach. If you're an honorably discharged veteran, age 18 to 59, you're eligible to apply for up to $50,000 of term life insurance. You choose the amount that's right for you, $10,000, $20,000, right up to $50,000 of level term insurance, the kind of protection that never decreases, $50,000 for less than $10 a month. That means in addition to your present coverage, you can get the extra affordable protection your family may need. If you're the spouse or widow of a vet, you're also eligible to apply for the same big dollar protection for combined total coverage of up to $100,000. And in most cases, you don't even have to take a medical exam. Call now if you're a veteran age 18 to 59 and you'll receive this free information package, including your own Veterans Life card and the valuable guide to veterans benefits. There's absolutely no obligation. So find out why thousands of veterans, including myself, have taken advantage of this important offer of term life protection. Call for the facts now.
Veterans, call 1-800-826-8880. Call now for your free information package. You will also receive an updated guide to veterans benefits showing what government benefits veterans are entitled to collect. Double bonus also includes information on Veterans Vision Care, an eye care plan that can save you money. Call 1-800-826-8880. The information is free, and so is the call. That's 1-800-826-8880. Call now.
I keep saying, way to go, Mox, but they did it last night. Did it in grand fashion.
Well,
That's
they did
terrific.
bunk it after the end of last year.
Well, just a month ago, you know, I started looking at the schedule and the one-loss record, and the Mocs were 6-8. 6-8 after their first 14 games. But they won 11 of their last 14 to finish with a 17-11 record. They closed out the regular season with a 5-game winning streak last night, 79-70, a win over the Citadel, which gave the Mocs their first Southern Conference regular season title in 3 years. They won 10 of their 14 conference games. Senior Chris Behrens playing his final game at the Roundhouse, and junior Benny Green each scored 10 first-half points as the Mocs raced out to a 15-point lead. By halftime, the Citadel had chopped that deficit to 7 points. They pulled dead even at 52 with around 12 minutes to go. Chandler scored 9 of his 19 points, Green 7 of his 17, and Barron 6 of his 16 in those last 12 minutes as the Mocs fought off the Bulldogs 79-70, claiming the league title. Furman finished second in the conference, Appy State third, the Citadel and East Tennessee State tied for fourth place, Marshall sixth, VMI seventh, Western Carolina eighth. So the Mocs take on the Catamounts 2:30 Friday afternoon in Asheville, North Carolina.
No matter where we see, we just go in and starting another season. 0-0, we had to go in and win 3 straight games. I think we can do it.
You can't overlook any team in the conferences. We found that out this season. We had 4 losses. Maybe we shouldn't have had them. But if we play up to our potential, no one will be able to beat us.
We haven't reached our other 2 goals. We wanted to win 20 games and go back to the NCAA, and not just go to the NCAA. We wanted to win in the NCAA, and the only way we can do that at this point, given our performance to this point, is win the tournament. That's why we didn't bother to cut down that second net. We cut down one. We celebrated enough. Now we got to wait till Sunday for the second part.
Chattanooga City High School's Orlando Lightfoot has been named Mr. Basketball in Tennessee in Class AA. The 6'7" Lightfoot, who's already signed to play collegiately at Oklahoma, was an All-Stater in '87-'88. He's sure to be one this season as well. Orlando's averaging 28 points, 18 rebounds a game for the Dynamos. Carlos Groves of East Robertson won the Mr. Basketball honor in Single A. Darrell Miller of Oak Ridge in Triple A. The 3 will be honored during the Boys State Tournament in Nashville, March the 18th. Lightfoot and the Dynamos sound like a rock group, doesn't it? Lightfoot and the Dominoes. Well, that was Derek, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, they'll take on Sweetwater's Wildcats 9 o'clock tonight in the 3 AA tournament at Cleveland State. Howard's girls, boys also in action in that tournament. At 2 Single A tonight at Bradley Junior High, Whipple's 10th-ranked Tigers, Copper Basin's 8th-ranked Lady Cougars, and the 6th-ranked Boyd Buchanan Buccaneers will all be in action. In Athens tonight, both McMinn County teams will see action. The Biggies, the nightcap, 2nd-ranked Brainerd against Cleveland. And in Pikeville, both the Marion County girls and boys will be playing. We have crews in Athens and Cleveland tonight. We'll have the highlights and scores for you on the Action News Update at 11. Georgia head football coach Ray Goff made a couple of staff changes today. Rossville native Dickie Clark, the outside linebacker coach, well, he's going to head up the team's defensive force unit. He'll coordinate the Bulldogs' rushing defense. Secondary coach Richard Bell is Georgia's defensive coordinator. Jimmy Johnson took control of the Dallas Cowboys today, warning fans that success would not come as easily in the NFL today when he coached at Oklahoma State and the University of Miami. Johnson, who was named to replace Tom Landry when Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys this past weekend, said that if commitment, enthusiasm, and hard work is worth anything, progress will be made.
You know, I don't expect to replace someone. That doesn't happen. You don't replace a Tom Landry. All I want to be known as is the present coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and let me do my thing. You know, let me work. You know, let me give effort. Let me have some enthusiasm. You know, and judge me for what happens later.
It may take a while for Cowboy fans to accept Johnson. After all, he's replacing a legend. Tom Landry will never be forgotten. And a couple of Dallas newspapers want to make sure of that. The Morning News and the Times-Herald have both published editorials calling for Texas Stadium, where the Cowboys play their home games, to be renamed to honor Landry, who coached there for the first 29 years. Landry Stadium.
That makes sense, actually.
Landry Field. Well, you know, that's so-and-so field, so-and-so stadium. Texas Stadium, Tom Landry Field. Possibility. Not a bad idea.
Folks in Dallas who would go for that.
Tom is riding off into the sunset tonight.
Certainly is. Well, human behavior, both good and bad, begins at home. That was the theme of discussion tonight at City High School. In honor of Black History Month, the Arts and Education Council brought psychologist Dr. Alvin Poussant to Chattanooga. Poussant spoke to around 500 folks about the important changes the American family is going through. The best-selling author and other panel members are also talking about tendencies toward violence, fear, success, and achievement. By the way, this is the final day of celebration for Black History Month.
There's more news ahead. Action News at 6:30 is next.
Here are some of the stories Roxanne Stein and I are covering for you tonight.
Chattanooga, this is TV9 Action News.
28 degrees in downtown Chattanooga right now. Neil Pascal says we can expect 15 degrees or less tonight. With spring at our door, we're hit with some of the coldest weather of the year.
Chill you to the bones. Good evening. We're in for the coldest night of the year.
And it's already been a day filled with news involving the weather. We usually spend the last days of February completing that final reach to the warmth of springtime. Well, today, many folks in this area woke to several inches of snow and, in some cases, ice. We have a team report tonight, beginning with TV9 Action News reporter Bruce Moore on Monteagle Mountain.
This mountain is notorious for its bad weather, and today confirmed that reputation. About 3 inches of snow fell on Monteagle, far surpassing the minor dusting in areas nearby. The all-night efforts of the state road crews paid off. Monteagle's main road stayed passable for the most part, but there were trouble spots here and there. Trucker Pat Carcio learned the hard way.
It just started jackknifing like this here and lost control.
Takes you by surprise.
It does. It really does. It scares you, too.
A trucker's bad luck is good business for Harry Parmley, whose wrecker service stayed busy throughout the day.
We've had several in the ditch and jump-starting some and stuff like this right here.
Across the street, stranded vacationers warmed by a hotel fireplace. Ed and Lucille Roble of Wisconsin plan to spend the night here and wait the weather out.
Oh, I don't think we the chance running off the road like that gentleman did over there.
Others prefer to be off the road. With the schools out, students took the time for some four-wheeled fun. Early morning on the interstate looked more treacherous than it was. Traveling from Florida, Ron Hebel had no problem.
I guess since you're from Florida, you don't see much of this, do you?
I don't want to see any. That's why I went to Florida.
The interstate has dried out well enough where transportation workers say they're not very concerned about overnight icing. But in Alabama, it's a slightly different story. TV9 Action News reporter Lori Perry is there as we continue our team report.
It was a winter wonderland this morning, but not a pretty sight for drivers from Fort Payne all the way to Birmingham. Underneath this fluffy snow on Interstate 59 was a slick coating of ice.
Well, we've had some bad storms before, but what's so bad about this year is the ice, the layer of ice that's on the road and people not using due caution.
The driver of this sports car fell into that category, according to Trooper Douglas. For a while, few cars could be found traveling the interstate as troopers proceeded to close it down. Those who drive for a living decided it best to pull over for a stay.
They drive a little faster down here when it's slippery than they do in Maine. They don't know. I see a bunch of cars off the road last night because it was slippery and I couldn't tell that it was slippery.
For those of us who found the roads outside just way too treacherous to be traveling on, well, we found the perfect place, inside. Apparently a lot of other folks had the same idea, including this man who thought he was getting a break from the cold.
You know, I left Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm thinking it's going to be 60 degrees down here, 65, sunshine. I get a breather, a break from what's going on back up north. I get down here, and it's like I never left.
But by this afternoon, Interstate 59 looked more normal, minus the ice, and travel was restored. Lori Perry, TV9 Action News.
Also in this newscast, Neil Pascal will have the latest for you on this approaching cold. And later in the program, Chattanooga's Empress of the Blues is honored in a big way. There are already some more school closings to report to you. Tonight, classes at Walker Technical Institute are canceled, as are classes at Northeast Alabama Junior College. And tomorrow, schools in Grundy County, Monroe County, and in Polk County, Tennessee will be shut down. Sweetwater City schools will also be closed due to the weather. And as soon as we get any more closings, you'll be the first to know.
Now to school closings of a different kind. A list of 16 Chattanooga schools recommended for closing has parents and instructors worried today. Even the young students are talking about the proposal that will mean a big change for many of them. Most inner-city elementary schools are on that list, including Calvin Donaldson, James A. Henry, Howard Elementary. James Jones' son is a 6th grader at James A. Henry.
For the students, and it's more convenient for the parents. I think they should keep the school open.
Really? You guys live close by then, huh?
Well, we say we're across town. We just bring them over here because we like the school.
The recommendation list is tentative, and even in its final form, if it gets the nod, the city school board can reject it.
Still to come, new efforts to try to improve Chattanooga's historic Choo Choo Hotel.
And later in the newscast, we'll celebrate a birthday in style for the 101st time.
And tonight on Follow-Up File, a fight for money that's been settled permanently.